Good afternoon, everyone, and a warm welcome to ITW Presents Vista 2020. We welcome ITW Consulting Private Limited, one of the leading consulting and management companies in India, as a title sponsor for Vista 2020. ITW Consulting has been named among the top 6 sports marketing companies in Asia. ITW specializes in crafting and executing multifaceted brand management solutions and celebrity management across a vast number of areas: sports, entertainment, and media. And we have with us today Mr. Viswanathan Anand. Mr. Viswanathan Anand is recognized as the best chess player to ever grace, let alone India, but the entire world. He embarked upon his ever so graceful climb to the top by winning 2 consecutive Asian Junior Chess Championships at the ages 14 and 15. He later proceeded to become India's first Grandmaster at the age of 18. Post this, Anand sir never looked back and began dominating the world. He has been the 5 World Chess Championship for 5 years. He has been bestowed upon India's highest sporting honor, the Rajiv Gandhi Khel Ratna Award, in the year 91-92, and subsequently India's second highest civilian award, the Padma Vibhushan, in the year 2007, in recognition of his success and contribution to the country. Anand sir, it is our utmost pleasure and a blessing to have you with us today.
Thank you. Pleasure.
The moderators of the session would be Mr. Chirag Ramesh, IIM Bangalore PGP batch of 2020 and former chess team captain of IIM Bangalore, and Mr. Nagesh J, IIM Bangalore GMIT batch of 2011, who trains upcoming chess talent in Bangalore. Without any delay, I would like to hand over to the moderators of the session.
Thank you, Siddharth, for the very good introduction. Good afternoon, Viswanathan Anand, sir. It's a pleasure to have you here on the platform.
Pleasure.
So we have a bunch of questions for you. Whenever you're ready, we can start with that.
Let's go.
Okay. The first question is, the Indian chess fraternity has witnessed several top chess players in the past decades, but only one Viswanathan Anand stands out. What do you think are certain aspects that have helped you stand out from the rest of the crowd?
I think the key aspect that I've discovered about myself is that I'm willing to learn a lot of new things. So let's say roughly till the age of 20, my learnings were more about how to better adapt to psychology and difficult situations. And especially my junior years, I think my chess understanding was just very natural. But in subsequent years, I have found that I've been willing to learn and change my way of doing things, including my way of playing chess, the way I approach the game and things like that. And probably that's been the key element allowing me to stay at the top for so long. So let's just say a willingness to learn and to work in order to learn.
Wonderful.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Again, a very warm welcome to Anand, sir. What would you say that, okay, this was the turning point in my chess career?
As you can imagine, I could probably pinpoint several, but there was one crucial year. So if I give you a little background, I started I learned from my mother how to play chess at the age of 6. And then I spent a year with that interest deepening. I started going to a chess club and so on. Then my father got posted in the Philippines, which was a lucky break in the sense that the Philippines had a lot of chess going on. So I think my interest deepened a lot there. And then I came back. And for a couple of years, I was just playing in the club. And I was getting moderately better, but not breaking out of anything. I went from a reasonably good club player to a strong club player, let's say. And then in '83, I had this magical year where I literally won everything. I won a tournament starting early in the summer holidays. Then I went straight to the national team championship, won the top board prize, won the won qualification to the men's championship and then won the national junior and sub-junior events in the same year. Whereas in previous years, I'd gone and I'd finished fourth and third and what have you. But suddenly 83 was really my breakthrough year. And I often wonder why it happened. I think simply that a lot of the work you did doesn't pay off immediately, but then one day it all falls into place and clicks, and it went brilliantly from that point.
Wonderful. Maybe destiny or something.
Yes, and I think also work that you've forgotten you've done maybe.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for that answer. The next question is regarding the managerial role your wife has played, Mrs. Aruna Anand. So how important or crucial has this managerial role been in your chess career?
I think very important. It is something I faced before my marriage as well, that how much of non-chess matter should I be attending to, and how much and there is something about if you give the task to someone else, you also have to learn to stop micromanaging it. You have to let go and things like that. So at one point that my parents were helping me, but this happened remotely as well because they could not travel with me much. And but so we got married in 96, and then after a couple of tournaments, Aruna started to observe what the chess world was like and what are the challenges I faced and so on. And later that year, in mid 97, we had this conversation where she said, well, she used to work in advertising. So she told me, why don't you let me handle that side of it? And then it slowly progressed from there. She started taking care of just 1,000 little things that cropped up. And this was very helpful because initially, of course, you still feel, I should guide them here and there, I guide her here and there and so on. But once I learned to let go, then I started to focus more and more on my chess. And it's not even that you get work done, it's just that your mind stops wandering for 100 little things, and that improves the level of focus that you bring. So that's very helpful. It doesn't necessarily have to be your wife, but obviously that Aruna did it, helped a lot in the sense that we were very close and we were traveling together all the time. So there was almost no misunderstanding. I think she knew my viewpoint on almost everything, and I also could trust her fully. And it's worked brilliantly. In later years, she started managing my World Championship negotiations, all my other contracts, things like that. And I've gotten pretty spoiled in the sense that I just do chess and nothing else.
Thank you for that answer, sir.
So Anand, we'd like to know who is your favorite chess player of all time, and what are the qualities that you admire in that player?
I admired two chess players, Bobby Fischer and Michael Tal, growing up. I would say it's just with Michael Tal, it was just seeing his games. I didn't get to meet him till many years later, and it's probably a stretch. Okay, he was young, he was handsome, he won the World Championship in his early 20s. I think he was 22 or something, and he brought, you could relate to him. If he could win the World Championship at 22, you could dream a little bit. But more than that, his games were sparkling. I mean, he really tested the boundaries of in chess when material is more important than initiative and so on. He was famous for his sacrifices. But essentially, this constant conversion of one feature in chess into another, time, space, material, and so on. And I admired his games. Fischer, as well, he was a very different style from Tal. But in Fischer's case, also this tortured genius thing had a certain pull. He's someone who struggled for many things, but still came out on top. And there were some years when he seemed supreme, that nobody was almost unbeatable. at the same time, his games had a certain clarity, a certain simplicity. This thing of making something difficult look very easy. And so really it's a toss-up between both of them. And the nice thing is I got to meet both of them. And I even played a game with Tal. With Fisher, I didn't get to play. But we spent the whole evening together. And yeah, it's a nice memory.
Okay, nice.
That must have been lovely, sir.
Yes, it was.
Sir, my next question would be regarding the upcoming chess talent.
Mm-hmm.
We can without a doubt say that you have played a huge contribution in boosting the chess fandom in India. Most players take up chess, including myself, only because we see inspirational figures like you. So my question was, what do you think can be done to further promote chess from the grassroots level in India?
I think there are a couple of areas. First of all, organizational, in the sense that this can be constantly improved. You get more tournaments, work with more sponsors to create some opportunities, get some support to the players so that when they make these difficult decisions, are they going to go and live abroad for a couple of years to compete as much as possible and things like that. They get a lot of support because we are quite close. I mean, now we already have 3 people in the top 30 and quite a lot of people waiting to break into the top 100. By many measures, we are one of the leading countries, but obviously we can improve that a lot, and the chess community promotes itself better and organizes itself better. I think that is the main thing, because the chess talent and the training system in India is already quite strong. So I focus my efforts there.
Okay.
Okay. So chess compared to other sports like cricket has not been that attractive from the financial perspective. So what is your take on the financial viability of someone who wishes to take up chess as a profession? In other words, would it be a good avenue to rely upon, as a means of livelihood or earning, or in that sense?
Chess is a reasonably well-paying profession. There are different stages. Obviously, if you break into the world top, then you have a very comfortable life. If you're in the rung below that, as I mentioned, you might need some support while you try to break into the top, and clearly that's the career path. On top of that, there are many avenues where you can do chess coaching and write about chess. Especially online, lots of avenues have opened up. And so that is allowing a lot more people to make a living from the game and not depend only on the prize money. But definitely chess has kept up with the times, and a lot of good opportunities are there. And right now, it's a reasonable shot. You still have to, I think, decide whether chess is not only a question of playing a game. It's also, are you into the whole lifestyle? Are you instant? Well, till this year, I would ask, do you like so much travel and so on? And so there are other aspects you need to take into account. But yes, it's a viable career.
Thanks. That's a reassuring thing.
So talking about how chess has stayed relevant and talking about the recent times. So online chess is a trend these days. We can see several Twitch streamers, several YouTube streamers, and I believe you also collaborated with a YouTube streamer and played a game against Abish Matthew, I think. So we have a couple of stats. Around 50,000 new players are registering onto these online platforms, be it chess.com, be it Leechess, and so on. So do you think online is going to be the way ahead for chess? What will happen to the traditional over-the-board chess?
Well, so let's understand what online chess was already doing 3 or 4 years ago, which is that a lot of the spectators were watching chess online. So the internet turned out to be our television, because of this crucial difference that in chess you need to have a good grasp of the rules in order to enjoy a match. Whereas in other sports, that element is much easier. You can enjoy a sport even if you don't grasp all the nuances. So in chess, this two-way communication turns out to be very, very important for spectators. And a lot of commentators actually use the questions that are posted on chats and so on to be able to communicate better. And then this model has worked very well for chess in making chess much more accessible. Now, even if you don't know anything about chess, you can watch chess with the online commentary and the ability to ask questions and interact with people. And it's a pretty good sporting experience. Now, that's been there for a long time. What is new in 2020 is that we used to play offline, and now we have moved online. The one big advantage for chess is that it can do this without any loss of, an online game is as competitive as an offline game. Certainly there are differences, but in a sporting context, you can play a high-level game online or offline. And this is the biggest part of the new model, which is that even the games are happening online. We had reasonable growth in online chess for a long time. I mean, a lot of people who wanted to pursue chess but never could get around to it, the fact that they can log on, sign up and start playing, the ease of that has meant that chess has been growing online for quite maybe a decade or more. But of course, this year has been explosive. So it seems that extra element was people sitting at home wondering what they can do, and then knowing that chess is so easy that, hey, we can do that. So that has been very good for chess. So we have grown our numbers, as you mentioned, by a lot this year. And many tournaments have huge online audiences. And that's been wonderful. Whether it's the future, well, 3 months ago, I would have said, well, it's the future for the next few months. But now I'm already beginning to wonder. It might just be there a lot longer. I think all of us, or at least I am coming from the situation where I thought, hopefully by Feb, March, we're going back to the way it was. And now I'm not sure. And now mentally, I just think December 2021. So that seems to be the thing. There are minor issues to be ironed out, but online chess was already happening, but maybe in the chart it would now split 50-50 almost. Well, right now it's extreme, but even when over the board tournaments return, it will not drop below 50% because a lot of people have found we can play online. Cheating issues have to be addressed. It's quite challenging because you have one arbiter having to monitor 20 environments through a webcam, and it's very tedious to do that. So some modifications. What could end up happening is that the players return to a common club somewhere, play there, so the arbiters can monitor them easily. A lot of hybrid suggestions pop up, but it definitely looks like online chess is here to stay.
Okay.
So if you were to invest your money in online versus offline, you will go with online then in the future.
Yes, definitely. That seems to be where all the new developments are happening. And the question is, and even an offline tournament is now thinking very hard how to attract its spectators online and how to engage them. So, but it's fairly seamless. You don't really think in terms of these boxes, offline, online. You just think, how do I put in a great event? And whatever combination works. And I think that's the way it will go.
Yeah.
Okay.
But almost all the new ideas are being tried like this.
Okay.
Right. But of course, I think we'll miss the, the kind of aura or the feeling of, playing in a real tournament hall and watching some of the other great players and all. Anyway, that's fine. That's the way forward. So, so I do a bit of coaching myself. I work with a lot of young talent, a lot of promising chess players. So we wanted to know whether there has been any coach who has made a significant positive difference in your chess career.
I didn't have a first serious coach till I became already a candidate. And it was only when I started to play the World Championship cycle in 1990 that I got someone who, before that, my thing was always I would work with people, exchange ideas, but it was very informal. And so very open, a lot of exchange, but informal. And 1990s when I started working formally, I would say Gurevich made a huge difference to me.
Oh, okay.
Because he was my first Soviet trainer who almost gave me an entry into this world which was slightly unknown to me, kind of thing. Then Yusupov, Ubilava, the people I would highlight at that stage. And later on, I learned to work with youngsters. As once I got into my mid 30s, it was quite helpful to me to work with youngsters. So people who were 7, 10, 12 years younger than me, because I think they found it easier to keep in track with all the new developments. And that way I could keep abreast of it.
Great.
Okay.
So people like Ganguly and
Yeah.
Wojtaszek, so the younger generation, Gajewski and so on.
Okay.
Wonderful. Thanks.
So this question addresses the audience actually. Our audience consists of both chess players and business professionals, aspiring business professionals both. So what would be some common advice that you would like to give to both of these segments of people?
I think the easiest advice I can give is simply make sure that you really enjoy what you're doing. Because more and more, you can say that I've been in chess for 30, close to 40 years, but the way I play chess now has changed so much compared to what it used to be. And this is becoming the norm in more and more occupations. So, I mean, the pace of technological change and the pace of disruption even is so high these days that you'll have to keep on adapting and changing yourself. And it's much harder to do that if you're in something that you don't really love. So it's important to when you're young to try out lots of different stuff, but then make a very careful choice as to what you're actually going to do, and be sure that you enjoy it, because if you don't enjoy it, one day will feel like five. It's important to find something that you like, because there'll be quite a lot of things you don't like, and it's easier to put up with it in that sense. Besides, I think another thing is to be open to the idea that at some point you might have to do something else, and not to be too resistant to the idea, or not to be too fixated on just doing the one thing, because again, we're living in an era when being adaptable. In a compressed way, while I'm happy I can do chess this year, almost every way I have of interacting with someone has to be online. So, if I had very strong reservations, one thing or the other, it might not work. So be a bit flexible and try to find something that you like.
Okay.
Wonderful. Thank you, Anand sir. Do we have time for one more question, or that's about it?
Sure, we can do a couple of questions.
Okay. All right. So I just wanted to also, understand, like, are you planning something in the near future for chess, from the coaching or from from the supportive role? You've been a player for many decades, of course. I've been at the top. Any other alternative or kind of complementary role that you're planning in the near future, next 1, 2, 3 years, kind of?
Okay, so I have been interacting with some of our youngsters, and in a way, it's nice. I try to emphasize to them that they should also keep training, because when chess returns, then this is a lot of valuable time that we have now. So I've been interacting with some youngsters. I may take that a bit further. Maybe that's the new thing this year, that I've actually formally started working with 5 or 6 of our youngest players and interacting with them. And
that's so lucky for them. Yeah.
So I might expand on that in the future.
Great. Good news, actually. Yep.
Thank you.
So that's about it from us.
All right.
Siddharth, you can.
Sir, thank you so much for your valuable time. And
you.
I would like to thank you and the moderators for such an insightful session. Thank you for answering all the questions. And as a token of our appreciation, a contribution has been made in your names to Say Trees. an organization that works on tree plantation in India. Agroforestry saplings have been planted in your name, and it has made a difference to the life of a farmer in Karnataka. Thank you so much for your time, sir. Thank you so much, moderators. It was a great session. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you for your time, sir.
Thank you all.
Sir.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, sir.
Bye, sir. Bye.
Bye, sir.